Hello. I just forgot to unmute my microphone. Hey guys. Okay, this is weird. My chat window's not working. Let me see if I can fix that. So it's kind of annoying. How are we all? Good morning. I see Jitset and Joe in the chat. There we go. Now it's working. Okay. That was weird. Just had to turn it off and on again. Okay. Oh gosh. Hello. I'm awake. You've been awake for an hour and a half. Watched the first Polgannon family from last week, but not caught up yet. That's cool. How are you though, Jitset? Are you feeling alive? How was Rowaney? Did you all have a nice time? I hope you all had fun. Oh, you got earphones. Your old ones died last night. These are so tight. Ooh, okay. They were wonky and then the earpiece just fell off. Hey, Kay Howard. Happy evening to you too. How are you guys? Alive! Yay! Tired and sore, but yes, it was fun. That's good. Yeah, we missed you in the streams for sure. Oh my gosh. Okay. Am I alive? I don't know if I'm alive, so I think you're doing better than me. Ugh, it was a rough night. Rough night. I had a bit of an insomnia night last night. A little bit of the couldn't shut the brain off night. So I think I fell asleep around 1. And then I woke up because I needed to wee, and then my husband woke up at like 5:30, 6-ish, because our plumbing under our house can be dodgy, and sometimes a very foul smell comes out of the toilet, and we just have to like flush the toilets, and then it goes away. But then if it gets bad, the whole house stinks. And Paul's very sensitive to smell, so that woke him up, and then he couldn't get back to sleep, and then he was like he was fiddle farting around in the house, so I was like, come back to bed, I can't sleep. So I think I had about 5 hours sleep, and I'm a little tired. That's okay. That's nice, Joe. That's what you want. We've had plumbers look at it, and yeah, apparently it's like something to do with like the way they laid the plumbing when they built the house or something. So basically they can't really do much about it without like redoing the plumbing, which is yeah, that's all right, Jitsen, no worries. 3G, my gosh, living in the old days. Our house is old. See, well, the thing is, our house is new. It's like 6 years old because Paul had it built. So apparently they just did a little bit of a dodgy when they built it. 6 years old, 7 years old? Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's really annoying. We noticed that it tends to happen a lot when there's like barometric pressure changes. I know, right? Yep. I like how I'm like, oh wow, you were living in the old days, 3G internet. You were literally at a medieval festival. Yes, Jitset has been living in the old days, the Addict. Big brain. I'm such a doofus. I'm not really awake yet, guys. I'm gonna be completely honest here. I am not really awake just now. But that's okay. I'm here anyway. Our house is a lot older than our plumbing. Wow, 100 years. Had a dunny out the back lane for probably the first half of that. Nice. Not the best day for sleuthing. Nah. I'm just gonna be very, very transparent with you all and say I'm a little out of it. Back when my internet was a typewriter, I used to use a typewriter just for fun. So my mum was a typist. That was like her first ever job. Her mum, my grandma, got her a job as a typist. So mum like could type really well, like really fast, and she could touch type, and I was always so impressed by that as a kid. And so I wanted to learn. And so mum at one point set up her old typewriter for me to practice on. It was so fun. There's something so satisfying about the clickies of the typewriter. It was really like, it's quite just, I don't know, pleasing. That's why I really like, I know I have a really loud keyboard, but I really love it because it's like a mechanical keyboard, and it's like, hey Maxon, you're here. How are you? How's your day? I haven't downloaded any of the new updates yet because I figured we could finish what we've been doing with the old version and then maybe update to the new version after, but you were sneaking looks into the 21st century every now and then. Not necessary. Okay, cool. I wasn't sure. I was like, I'd rather not mess it up just in case I do something weird. You did that at school? Yeah, like I learned how to position my fingers on the keyboard, like to have my left hand on ASDF and my right hand on J, K, L and semicolon, and then like how to move my fingers around the keyboard really efficiently, and like how to find the E and the R. It was quite a, like, it was this textbook from like, I don't know, the 80s or 90s on how to type and how to touch type. And I actually did it like quite a bit because I don't know, I found it really fun. The home keys, yeah, and I found it similar to learning to play the piano as well, because like, you know, you have your hands and you put one, you know, at first you learn the two hands together position where both your thumbs are on middle C, and then you sort of go, you know, out like that for a while. Then you move so your bottom hand is lower and you have both hands on like C or wherever. I don't know. Oh, Jenna, what did you say? Sorry, I don't know what Nanny Bot's telling you off for, but I'm sure it was fine. Nanny Bot, please. Nanny Bot, please. I'm sorry, Jen. just ignore Nanny Bot. She's obviously having a moment. The net nanny strike. What did it delete her for? She did the shh swear. You said the S word? Jenna. You can say crap. Your mum was a shorthand typist, Joe? Nice. Yeah, at one point I was really fast. Like, I was quite a good touch typer. I'd say when I was the fastest was like late high school and into uni. That was when I was really quite quick. I've probably slowed down a bit since then, but I can probably still touch type, I think. Like, relatively well. So if you don't know what touch typing is, by the way, it's where you can type without looking at your fingers on the keyboard at like pretty much at all. So you could like be reading something and just typing it in, or just looking at the screen and just typing it in. That's kind of what like touch typing is. You type without looking, yeah. I don't know, it was just something that intrigued me as like a young girl. And like I was like, I don't know, maybe like 8 or 9 years old when mum first got me set up with the typewriter and the how to type book. So I got into it like pretty early on. I don't know, it was weird. And then I remember in high school, we would do like IT classes, you know, and they would get us to play like typing games to improve our typing, and I was like ace. I was like, oh please, this is easy. Everyone would watch me and go like, whoa. Yeah, younger kids don't have large enough hands. Yeah. Anyway, that was a little bit of a, what's the word? An aside. My brain is not working. No, it's not. No, it's not. Yeah, it was a long-winded aside. Okay. So today, everybody, I don't have a heap of time to stream, unfortunately, because I have somewhere to be at like 10:30. So I'm going to stream for a couple of hours, but then I'll have to call it short today, unfortunately. Sorry about that. It's just midweek streams. Sometimes I've got all the time in the world and other times I don't. So yeah, we're gonna jump in here because we are a little bit limited for time today, but we don't have that much to do today. Also, let me know if that music's a good volume for everybody, please. By the way, sorry, I forgot to do that earlier. You spell by typing words in my head, so I never forgot how to touch type. That's funny. Yeah, it's annoying. It's one of those things I just have to go out for a bit at like 10:30, and then I come home, and then I have a doctor's appointment this afternoon as well, so I'm just going to be like in and out all day. But yeah, we don't have that much to do in today's stream because we only have one more household to look into, which is Morgan James. Is that her name? Someone James. Margaret James. I was close. Who's Morgan James? Is that someone famous? Anyway, Margaret James. So we're gonna have a look at her, and she is like, she's been investigating the murder as well, like on the side, of Ruin, Ross Carrick, and kind of annoying Ruin by investigating the murder too. So we're gonna take a look at what she's been discovering and see if it gives us any other clues, because yeah, we need to solve this bad boy, because this is like our last household, so I might need another cuppa. My coffee is very sadly empty. Alright, but so Margaret James has come here on a holiday to give herself a proper rest from the demands of being a successful artist in London. She is supposed to be preparing for her next big project, which is due to show early next year. However, to her complete fascination, Polgannon was in uproar when she arrived shortly after Lord Polgarth was found stabbed in the centre of the local stone circle at the Polestones, called the Polestones, surrounded by various bits of pagan paraphernalia. Though the obvious suspect is the local witch Rosen Nancarrow, known to hold a grudge against Blaze, Margaret cannot help wondering whether it was really her who done it. She found to her delight that her neighbour is the police inspector drafted in to solve the case, and she has been, casually, trying to get him to tell her all about it. So, yeah, let's see. Hopefully she has some valuable insight. Okay, cool. So, she lives in the upstairs, like, boathouse apartment, so we'll remember this lot from the very first episode. So Ruin lives downstairs in here. These are meant to be, like, holiday rentals, I think. Sorry. Sorry for making a yawn, Joe. Yawns are contagious. But yeah, so she lives above Ruin, in this little boathouse apartment here. So it's quite clean and fresh, very holiday home vibes, very modern. Yeah, nicely decorated, and nice art on the wall, and nice clean IKEA couches. So it's not very personal, I guess, but yeah, she's staying here, I guess, temporarily is the story. So Margaret is a knowledge sim. Right now she wants to max out 7 skills as her lifetime want. Here's her pretty little face. Hello. She looks so quintessentially English. My goodness. How did you manage to make everybody look so English, Jenna? It's quite impressive. But yeah, so she's a knowledge primary, and she's actually a pleasure secondary sim. There we go. And she is an art forger, so she is a very successful artist. So she's come here for a few days just to... I don't know, I have face blindness. Oh, really? So faces mean not much to me. I did not know that. That's really interesting. Huh. I don't think I've ever met someone actually, like, who has that. I've heard of it, obviously, but I think we tend to make sims that look like us. Yeah, that look like us and the people around us. What we know, yeah. Definitely, Joe, I agree with you there. You can see she needs a lot more friends if she actually wants to get promoted. I assume she's, like, left her friends back in London. It's kind of the story. But yeah, she's supposed to have 7 more friends for her next promotion, so... there's that. In terms of her relationships, she is crushing on Ruin Ross Carrick. I think we made the crush happen when we were playing him. I think we made that happen. Because it was strongly implied that she had a little bit of a little bit of a thing for him. Otherwise, she's not particularly close to anybody in town just yet, apart from maybe Sonara Nichols. They have 35 over 9 is her highest relationship. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Excuse me, you guys. Excuse me. Yeah, she's meant to be crushing on her neighbour. She does not like Marek Nichols, the lawyer, and she doesn't like Cedric Chesney, which shows good taste. And she also doesn't like Rags, which is funny. And that's sort of all that's interesting in terms of her relationship. She knows quite a lot of Sims, and she's quite neutral with quite a lot of Sims. So that's fair, considering she is a newcomer to town. Hey, Red Arena, good morning. How are you today? Okay. She is an Aquarius. She's almost fit, actually. That's probably from all that swimming she's been doing. We'll remember that she loves her pool quite a lot. She's quite interested in politics. She's actually not at all interested in crime. She does have a very interesting face. But yeah, she's not at all interested in crime, which is interesting considering she's so fascinated by the murder case, but oh well. And she likes culture, environment, travel, doesn't like school. Oh my god, stop yawning! She needs a few points. Yeah, no, she's very, very pretty. I don't know, she just looks like someone that, you know, you've seen before, doesn't she? It's like, yeah, I've seen someone who looks like that. But yeah, her hobby, we don't know what it is. I assume it would be arts and crafts. That would make the most sense to me. Let's take a look through her memories. I'm just gonna blow my nose real quick, sorry. You've got a big day ahead at work, 11 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. Oh, Lord. You need to start getting ready. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. I do need more tea. I need to go make myself a cup of tea. But so, I think one of the reasons I struggled so much to sleep last night was because I made myself a cup of tea at the mummy class I went to. So, yeah, I went to a mummy class last night, and it started at like 7 p.m. and I made myself a tea because I was feeling anxious. And I was like, I'm gonna make myself a tea. And then nobody else had a cuppa, and I felt really awkward anyway. But I was like, just trying to be like, yeah, no, I'll make myself tea so it's like less awkward. Yeah, kind of, Joe. One of the weeks will be all about birthing, but it's more holistic than that. So like last night we talked mostly about healthy pregnancy and preparing for to have a healthy baby. And that was all really basic kind of stuff, like nutrition and sleep and exercise and stuff like that. Next week we talk about the baby stage. So like, I think the class is called like poop, eat, sleep, repeat or something like that. So we're just going to learn all about like diaper changing and like baby schedules and how to do like sleep training, pardon me, and things like that. Yes, we talked about raspberry leaf tea. We did. And then the third week, I don't actually remember what that one's all about. The fourth week, so we do 4 weeks before babies are all born. The fourth week is all about labor. So we'll do labor coaching and like prep and stuff. And then there's 8 of us mums who are involved. And then after all the babies are born, we come back and we do, I think, like 4 more classes for like baby care and stuff. So it's being run by a lady who she like started working as a labor nurse back in 88, and she's got like 30 years of experience under her belt with babies. She's done sleep training, she's done labor and delivery, she's like a registered midwife, she's got 5 kids of her own. So like, I don't know, it's just something I wanted to do. So anyway, I had a cup of tea there, and then I was awake until like 2 o'clock in the morning, so whatever. Back to the stream. Yeah, no, it was good. I'm glad I did it. Yeah, I'm glad I'm involved. I'm quite proud of myself actually, because I don't like to socialize, so I was like, I'm gonna do this for me and my baby. I'm gonna get outside my comfort zone. I'm gonna do this. And Paul said he'll come with me as well, but he couldn't come last night because he had to work on a client's computer because they wanted it upgraded to Windows 11, but it wasn't working, and so he had to figure that out. But anyway, So let's take a look back at Margaret's memories. So she was an overachiever, and she went to college. She did very well at college, and she had her first kiss and woohoo at college with a mystery sim. She graduated with honors, got promoted up through her career as an artist, and then eventually came to Polgannon for her holiday kind of thing. You did Windows 11 on your laptop today? Nice. I am going to do it on my computer because I want to see what it's like, but I have to just find time because I want Paul to take an image of my computer before I do it, so he'll just take a snapshot. It's like it's a method of backing up a computer, essentially, is you take an image on it and you just snapshot it, and then we'll back that up. We'll upgrade, we'll see what it's like, so make sure everything's working, and then if we need to, we can just roll back to the other image. But he's having a busy week with work, so we'll wait yet. Sounds really useful, plus if it's local. Helps make friends who have bubs the same age. Exactly, Jatset. Yeah, exactly. I don't know anyone, really, in my immediate peer group who are having babies. It is supposed to work well with TS2, yes, Jenna. That's why I want to try it out. But yeah, because I don't have many IRL friends, just full stop. And I wanted to meet some more people, so, like, hopefully... I had a really good chat, actually, with one of the ladies there last night. His name was Katie. She was really nice. Everyone else was pretty quiet and shy, but we'll get there. And Sarah, the lady who's running it, was telling us all about how she's still, like, best friends with some of the mums from her class that she took when she had her first baby, like, years and years and years ago. Future friends with a kiddo. Yeah, no, exactly. So Sarah was telling us, like, so she's still BFFs with two of the mums from her baby class 20 years ago, and her 20-year-old daughter, who was the daughter who she had while she was in the baby class, just got engaged, and two of her bridesmaids for her wedding are, like, their kids. So, like, two of the kids from her, like, mummy group are, like, her... Like, so they're all, like, still best friends, basically, is what she was telling us. And I was like, that's so cute. Like, that is so adorable. So, you're still friends with someone you met? Her daughter's 6 weeks older than mine? Yeah. Baby class bridal party. Exactly. And I thought that was so sweet. And I was like, yes, no, I want this for me and for my kids. So, I really did try to, like, put myself out there and be like, I want friends. But I kind of like... Yeah, it is. No, for sure, Jitset. For sure. But two of the mamas weren't there last night either, so I didn't get to meet them because one of them has COVID and the other one has a husband with gastro. So... Yeah, but anyway. So, let's finish up looking at her. So she likes logical and artistic sims. She doesn't actually like sims with facial hair. Interesting. And then let's take a look through... Yeah, I know. Icky. Imagine having COVID while you're pregnant. Let's have a look through Margot's bio. So, ye gods, it's like Cold Comfort Farm all over again, only more so. Aha, Mr. Clever Clogs next door didn't think of that. I wonder if I should tell him. Might be nice. Mr. Clever Clogs. So I'm guessing that's Ruin Ross Carrick. Beards are evil. Clearly. And then we have, despite the distraction of all this, I really need to get on with my work. I need paintings for that exhibition and I must do them. I won't get a chance like this again. Time to buckle down. And she says, oh Lord, I hope I don't get collared for hours by Tanara talking about art again. Cordelia Kerno is the only person around here with any real talent. Still, it's important she enjoys it, I suppose. We wouldn't get anywhere without people to appreciate our paintings. I should be more patient. And then she says, by the sound of things, nobody's going to miss him. I agree. I don't think anyone really misses Blaze Penhaligon at this point. You like beards? Your son's trying to grow a beard? Oh, bless. How do you think he's going to get on, Joe? At 17, don't think it's going to be a very good beard. But did you guys have those friends in high school who were like 16, 17 and could grow a full beard? I did. I knew a couple of guys like that. I like my hubby to have a little bit of facial hair. He usually keeps it pretty short. And the funny thing about Paul, of course, is that he has a red beard. So he's like strawberry blonde, but his beard comes in red, so he doesn't like to grow it out too much. We could have a kid with red hair. Because, yeah, so there's a lot of sort of like strawberry blondie red tones on Paul's side because he's got like Scottish ancestry. Yeah, it's the hidden Viking. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so the family story. Let's have a looky here. This ought to be interesting. I'm just drinking lots of water, trying to wake my brain up, sorry. So, Margaret is writing to her good friend back in London. My dear Helen, I arrived here in Polgannon on Tuesday evening as planned and found the whole place in uproar. When I finally located the landlord of the flat I'm renting, he had no idea that I was coming today. I was prepared to be indignant about a booking cock-up when it turned out that the whole place had been shattered by a local murder. In fact, one Blaise Penhaligon, the local squire, was found stabbed to death lying in some sort of pagan symbolic display in the middle of the local ancient stone circle. Would you believe it? I even have the investigating officer as my neighbour. The landlord is his son. It seems that this whole thing is a complete mystery. I'm going to get out my knitting and put on my Miss Marple hat. More anon. Yours, Margaret. Many people from the UK have Viking. Yeah. So he's got those ringtones. And red hair often like skips a generation, so. Okay, so this looks like a movie with Adele in it. Set in Al Simhara or something. Wednesday AM. My dear Helen, my investigation is underway. I was started by working out who profits by the victim's death. Well, his wife, of course, and his son. The wife is Adele Ballantyne, the actress. Remember her? Apparently, she married the elderly Lord Polgarth last year, shortly after the death of his first wife, and is seen locally as a gold digger, at least according to the doctor's sister, Eva Tremothick, who is, it seems, the perfect model of a village gossip, thoroughly enjoying herself. Perhaps Adele got tired of waiting for the cash to fall into her lap. I thought I'd start there, though it would be difficult to meet her. According to Eva, she has been spending a lot of time recently, scandalously, with the incomer called Richard Carlyon, apparently a genuine Indiana Jones-style adventurer who is looking to sponge some funds for his next expedition off Lord Polgarth. He has a house in the village, but spends much of his time at the bar at the golf club, so I went there. Thanks, Joe. Right, and she's got... I spoke to Richard's golf partner on Tuesday. This is what he said. Another one with questions. Well, I'm not going to get myself into hot water just for Carlyon's sake. He asked me to say that we were all playing golf all afternoon, but that's not quite right. We did play round at 4, but then stopped into the bar for a quick drink at 5:15. But that's all. Okay. Interesting. Well, it seems like Richard was lying to the police about what he was doing. I spoke next to the bartender. He said, Mr. Carlyon was indeed here, miss. He came into the bar with his partner after 5 for a drink before he went off home. As to before that, I cannot say. He does rent a room from us here. He likes to entertain business friends in private, he says. I can't say whether he was here or not earlier that day, though the maid might know. The maid told me someone had been into the room and used the bed, but otherwise wasn't sure. She might have glimpsed Richard going in that afternoon, she said. That's, by the picture, that looks like that's Richard with Adele. So it looks like they were having an afternoon foray. What was the time frame for the murder? So... That's a good question. I think he was murdered at like... Wait, I've got it here. I think he was murdered around... In the afternoon. He was discovered around like 5:30, I think. Maxton will be able to tell us. Blaze left his house at 2 p.m. He was seen walking at 2:15 and seen heading up to the pole stones at 2:30. And then the body was discovered around like 7:30, I think, or like 6:30, and reported around 7, something along those lines. The next thing to do is establish your time frame. Ruin tells you about it. Yeah. Yeah, I think last seen around 2:30 p.m. discovered around 6:30 p.m. from memory. So it was sometime in that afternoon. Right. But yeah, so by the look of this picture, it looks like Adele was actually with Richard Carlyon in the afternoon at the, I think it was 6:30, yeah. But it looks like they were together at the golf club in his room that he rents in the afternoon, maybe, according to the maid. So that would actually be a pretty convincing alibi for both of those Sims, really, if they were together having a little bit of a romp in the afternoon before he then went out to play golf and then he came into the bar for a drink. But yeah, interesting. Okay, so then now we're talking about Caro and Caroline and Seth. Okay. The son, according to the locals, was seriously at odds with his father. Apparently Caro, the now Lord Polgarth, moved his family out of Pole Manor about 6 months ago. Some said it was in protest at Blaze installing a young wife so soon after the death of his first wife, Caro's mother. Others say that Caro resented his father's continual interference with his life. The man seems to have been a terrible bully. Caro's wife is reportedly very unhappy. She's been seen in the company with a local wide boy, one Seth nan Caro, and tongues wagging. My God, Helen, I've seen him. He's just like Seth from Cold Comfort Farm, right down to the suppressed resentful smouldering. I wonder if she's having a Lady Chatterley moment. To cap it all, he's the son of a local witch and the primary suspect called Rosen. Having such fun. Yours, Margaret. Oh, on the wall? Oh, right. So this is 2:30. Thank you. Thanks, Jenna. Oh, no worries, Joe. Sorry. Let me check my stream quality on my end. Bitrate seems good. Let me know if anyone else is having buffering issues, and I could try a couple things to improve the stream. Yes, it does. Deduction. Yeah. Well, if this is 2:30 in the afternoon. Well, see, that depends. I'd have to double check what Adele said she was doing. Oh, from Joe's comments. Maybe he was woohooing. Maybe he was with a woman. Maybe he was getting Carenza pregnant. That was when that happened. Dun, dun, dun. It could mean he's doing something odd up there, or it could mean the times are off. It could. But this could also mean, see, this depends, did they stay in their room the whole time? Or did these two leave their room and no one saw them leave the room? The bed had been used, said the maid. Oh, right. Yeah, thanks. No, that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. The maid told me someone had been into the room and used the bed, but otherwise wasn't sure. Good timing on the bum chicken. Wow, wow. They could have still used the bed and left. True. Okay. Wednesday evening. Dear Helen, well, the local murder mystery has everyone chattering. There was a lurid spread in the local paper today with pictures of the family, including a large one of Adele. There was a lot of nonsense about a local curse and witchcraft. Seems the place had a history of wrecking, and Blaze's family were in the thick of it. Some evil act centuries ago led to all his descendants being cursed, and it's not safe to go out at Halloween when the murder took place, apparently. Seems it wasn't for Blaze and the curse got him. Ha! I'll have to follow up that line, I guess. But it's ridiculous. Nobody believes in that supernatural claptrap these days. Honestly, papers will print anything to get a sale. The byline was by a local woman called Gwen Jargo. Oh. I better chat her up. 10 minutes or a couple hours, indeed. Is there anything else I should notice in these pictures? I don't know. Okay, so here we have Abby Cardew. That looks like Thomas Cardew. And that looks like, what's her face? Gwen's girlfriend. More rationale progress has been made. I spoke to a man called Alan Trelawney. Nice, oh, that might be Alan Trelawney. Nice old fellow, lovely dog, and apparently the last person to see Blaze alive. He was seen on the path to the stone circle at 2:15 on Tuesday. Shortly after, Alan met Abby Cardew from the manor, the maid. He said, I talked to Abby for a while and we walked back down Lanscombe Road. No one passed us, and that's significant, I think, because anyone going to meet Blaze from that part of the village would have had to have passed us. We reached the green about 3. Anyone on Lanscombe Road couldn't have gone to the stone circle that way, and to go via Carhalwen Road takes an awful lot longer from that part of the village. I told Inspector Rosscarrick all this. Well, that includes several people. The son and his wife, a local, rather good potter, Cordelia Kerno, that's her name. Remember that exhibition we went to at the Grayson Gallery? And the vicar and his wife, and the pharmacist, though he would have been in his shop then, surely. Yeah, thanks, Alan, yeah. Next I went to the village pub, the Moonraker Arms, and spoke to the barman there, called Kea Piran. He said, oh yes, of course I was in here all afternoon. Quiet day, but a steady stream of people. Mostly tourists, you know. That Thomas Cardew was in here about 2 p.m. for a swift one, he said. He's always in here for a swift one. More often than his wife knows, anyway. He went off about 2:30, but was back again later. Just missed his wife too, lucky for him. She came in to look for him just before. Drinks more than is good for him, in my view. Seth and Jory were in that evening about 5:30. Of course, Caddick, the landlord, was here too. He was out at first, but came back to deal with the delivery at 2:45. And was working with the barrels all afternoon. Huh. Okay. So Thomas Cardew. That's interesting. So Thomas Cardew was in the pub, had a drink, left about 2:30, and then came back later for more drinks. Okay. Bartenders tend to be good for times and people, yeah. Alright, okay, here we have an interesting looking scene. We have Cedric Chesney looking at Sanara Nichols walking past Rosen and Blaze, who look like maybe they're having a bit of an argument or something. So that's interesting. I was accosted on leaving the pub by the curate of St. Jenny's, a Cedric Chesney. He asked me what I thought I was doing. I told him I was just a visitor and was naturally interested in the local murder. He sneered at me and said, if you ask me, I noticed that Inspector Rosscarrick ignored this, even though I did my duty and told him all about it. The trappings of witchcraft around the scene of the crime clearly point to Rosen Nancarrow. A godforsaken woman she is. She lives down by the Haven, not far actually from where you're staying. It's well known she's a witch. She's evil, I tell you, evil incarnate. She must have snuck up there on Tuesday morning and laid a trap for Lord Polgarth, and then lain in wait for him. It was well known she hated him. I heard her curse him myself in High Street one day. I will pray for your safety and suggest that you find rooms further up in the village to get away from her evil influence. Quite charming, as you see. Yours, Margaret. Oh my gosh, Cedric Chesney. She's evil, evil incarnate. He's a piece of work. Okay, so then we have talking between themselves. Okay. Thursday AM. Dear Helen, I followed up on yesterday's bile from the curate by interviewing the witch herself. After laughing when I told her what Cedric said, she said, I've known Blaise Penhaligon all my life. It's true he comes from a line of evil men, but no matter what the curate says, I had nothing to do with his death. Though I'd see him damned. Anyhow, I could have killed him at any time if I'd put my mind to it, and I wouldn't need to stab him neither. I knows plenty of natural ways of seeing off someone unwelcome without leaving a mark. I think perhaps she's right. Perhaps. I would believe that too, coming from Rosa Nancaro, to be honest. If I wanted to kill him, I would have done it years ago. After she stalked off, I was approached by a scruffy old man with a malignant eye. He'd overheard our conversation and said, You leave off, Rosen. There are plenty of others with a murder to kill that bugger. Turns out his name is Jory Bascowan, and he proceeded to point out several potential suspects, including the local police constable. This gets more baroque by the minute. Oh, gosh. Boscawen said, Blaise was a good man. No, sorry, Blaise was a bad man. He had it in for me since we were lads. Same age we were. That Constable Warren is nearly as bad. I known him since he were a babe. He ain't as good as he likes to pretend. Blaise had a lust for power over others. Cruel and spiteful and no mistake. But he had the right of him. When I were visiting the Nick for a summit, oh my god. When I were visiting the Nick for summit, as don't concern you, I heard Blaise yelling at Brayok. I pricked my ears up. I heard Blaise say, You make too many mistakes, Warren. It's not your concern to supervise the behaviour of your betters. You leave my name out of that report or I shall have to speak to the chief constable. He comes over to dine at the manor once a week, as you know. I'll remind you that the cottage you live in is tied to your job. Think on that, my lad, and do the right thing. What do you think that was about, eh? I tell you, Brayok will not have been sorry that the old devil is dead. He's got a wife and kids to look after. Oh, that's some serious tea. That's some serious tea. Also, this is just an aside, but I love the word summit. I were visiting the Nick for summit. I just want to say summit instead of something. Could I be English? Oh, dear. All right. But yeah, okay. So I wonder what Brayok was reporting on. Like, I wonder what he was writing a report on that concerned Blaise. Oh, gosh. The plot thickens. Okay, then we have, in this picture, we have Seth and Jory, who are good friends. In the background here is Carenza Tremaine, I think. Which is interesting. I tried talking to this Jory character some more. He was very evasive when I asked him what he was doing the day Blaise was murdered, which made him seem shifty. All he would talk about was fishing down at the Haven, and then round 5 p.m. when he set off for the pub with me old mate Seth. I couldn't get anything more from him except a description of his catch, a nice bit of dinner apparently, and then walking up the road. Obstructive old so-and-so. I think it likely he was doing something illegal, but I don't think he was up on the moor murdering Blaise Penhaligon anyway, despite his obvious dislike, hatred even, of the mad. Time to change tack, perhaps. Yours, Margaret. Okay. Yeah, Carenza. Yeah, okay. So it looks like in this picture, Carenza is like swooning slightly. It's like she's doing this. She's kind of like, ooh, you guys probably can't see it because it's really small. But yeah, she's kind of going like, ooh. So I wonder, is she swooning at Jory or Seth? Or is she just thinking about how much she loves Blaise Penhaligon? I don't know. Thursday PM. My dear Helen, this lady writes a lot of letters. She knows she was there when Seth met Jory. Okay, fair. Yeah, fair. My dear Helen, I tried pursuing some more information about Blaise's nearest family. I finally tracked down the Richard Carlyon this afternoon, slipping into the post office. I got the distinct impression he was trying to avoid being noticed. I asked about Adele. He said, Adele? Oh, Adele who likes money, you know. Oh, Adele likes money, you know. I'm sure she married Blaze because of that. She's been bored witless, stuck down here in the middle of nowhere. She says she'd like to go on one of my expeditions, but I'm pretty sure she'd hate that too. She likes to be the centre of attention, and some of the places I go have no one around at all. Best thing for me, but Adele? Well, she'd much rather be in Hollywood, I think. She's very ambitious, you know. He went on to say, I'm pretty sure Adele regarded the solicitor chap as the main problem in that regard. He was apparently being rather difficult over Blaze settling the money on her in his will. I'm not sure that got settled, but I know she was extremely angry about it. I agree, Joe. Yeah. I need to write everything down. I thought then I might try to get some information about the solicitor. They're often the guilty one in the books after all, but he wasn't in. I spoke to his secretary. She said, I've been Mr. Nichols' secretary for 3 years and I work in the office here. The work's a bit dull, but a country practice is bound to be, isn't it? Well, we were both at work that afternoon. He was in his office and I was down here typing up the documents for the brewery. Mr. Nichols sent me off to Lanscombe at 3:40 p.m. to deliver them by hand. Nice to finish early for once. That's what the chart is for, yeah. Lord Polgarth was a bully, you know. I think Mr. Nichols did something wrong once. I overheard a terrible row between them. I tried not to listen, but I did hear Lord Polgarth shouting, that mistake will cost me thousands. And then he called Mr. Nichols a buffoon and threatened to ruin him. Mrs. Nichols was here to see her son and overheard it too. She was very upset. Yeah, you can see Sonara Nichols in the background overhearing this argument. Then we have Thomas, Cardew, and Blaze. And it looks like Blaze has busted Thomas drinking in the pub and is yelling at him. Or actually, this might not even be in the pub. This might be in the cellar at the Pole Manor. Yeah, this might actually be in the wine cellar at the Pole Manor. After that, I thought I'd pursue the mother and see if I could pump any information from her. She was dismissive. To be honest, I think she was trying to brush the idea of a row between her son and Blaze under the carpet. She said, Blaze had terrible trouble with everyone if you believed half the things he said. For instance, he accused his butler, Thomas Cardew, of pilfering his brandy and drinking it on the sly and then watering down the brandy in the decanters in the hall. At the hall, he said Thomas was a drunken, good-for-nothing sot. He was talking of turning Thomas and his family out, but that would have been stupid. Hedra's a good cook, and good servants aren't easy to come by. I should imagine Thomas would resent the disgrace of being fired. He's very concerned with what other people think. Not much help, just more motives. We'll keep going. Yours, Margaret. Yeah, wine cellar. Yeah. Oh, and that's all. Oh, I was really enjoying reading her. That's all we have for Margaret's family story. Okay. Okay. So there's a couple of things that we should probably add to this sheet, which I have not been filling in at all. But I do want to put in, so Adele 2:30 at golf club with Richard. Woohoo! And then Thomas was at pub having a drink, and then he left pub but came back later. Now, did he give us a time that he came back? No, it just says he went off at 2:30ish but was back again later. Just missed his wife too, lucky him. She came in to look for him just before. Okay. Wall. This is about 4:15, I think. Probably need the original pictures. I think that's about 4:15. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a clock. No, I see that. I do see that. I think that picture is about... Yeah, that looks like 4:15. So... 4 p.m.-ish. So then Hedricadu was... So, back at pub. And then Hedra was like 4:15 at pub looking for Thomas. Okay. Cool. Look at me go. And then so Abby was walking here, and then she was at Village Green. And we know that from her mate, this guy. Alan Trelawney. Oh, he came back just after, not just before? Oh, right, thank you. Right, okay. So it was actually for 4:30. Yeah, evidence is both for Alan and Abby and anyone else you can see. Yeah. Noted. So this is Cordelia, Abby, and Trelawney. Yeah. Cordelia, Alan, and Abby, I mean. I gotta pay more attention to the clocks on the wall. Okay, so then we have a little bit of stuff about... Also over the road, yeah. We have a little bit of stuff as well about... Richard Carlyon. So... He was at the golf club with Adele in room around 2:30. They were all playing golf around 4. They went in for a drink at the bar 5:15. Also over the road, yeah. Clocks are important, yes, very. So that's Richard. Okay. So yeah, you can see I haven't been doing my homework properly because I haven't been filling this in whatsoever. Oh dear. And then what else have I got that I can write in here? I can't tell who that is over the other side of the road. There's another sim here. But I can't tell who that is. It's too blurry. I might need to look at the original picture for that. So this is at the Moonraker. That looks like the other guy. Ruin. That looks like Ruin Ross Carrick. Yeah. Okay. There's lots of other, like, yeah, Kea Piran, yeah. There's lots of other, like, stories and background information around here. But, like, in terms of actually filling in this sheet, there's not, like, heaps. But I think if I can find, so Jory Bascowan. 5 p.m. he was back from fishing. 5:30 he was at the pub with Seth for a drink. Okay. And then... Okay. Yeah, Seth was at the pub too. Yeah. I've already got Seth filled in, pretty much. So he was at the Green most of the day. And then he met Jory at the docks. And then they went to the pub. So I've got Seth kind of like filled in. That's one of the Sims I've actually managed to fill in. Alright, well, let's just play a day, shall we? So she needs to get painting, apparently. Does she even have an art easel here? Oh yeah, she has one nice outside. Yeah, Jory was at the docks at 4, thank you, yes. Okay, so Margaret, why don't you go ahead and have some breakfast? And then you can get yourself dressed for the day. And then we might do a beautiful artwork of sunrise over the bay, shall we? So I think today with Margaret, we'll have her mostly hang out at home. I feel like this sim is mostly useful for all of the intel she's already gathered. And then what we might do is go back to filling in some more of that that sheet from other people's stories. Okay, so we need to capture a subject. So let's get the beautiful scenery here of the jetty and the horizon and the barbecue, shall we? There we go. Stunning. She's very excited. She tried that arts and crafts activity. And the Barbie. Yeah, absolutely. The most important part. Well, I'm glad you actually enjoy your career, Margaret. Like, glad for her sake she enjoys painting, considering that's her livelihood. Okay, now I just need to send a message really quickly. So just excuse me while I do that, because I just need to check in with someone. She got a Eureka on creativity as well. Nice. Hi. There we go. Okay. What is her creativity skill? Oh, she's pretty good. She's got 8 creativity points. Nice. Okay. So who... Oh, hello, Abby. The question is, who do we need to go back to like, fill everything in? Probably everyone. Hello? Someone is calling. No, that's okay. Thank you. Do you want to try the new Arts and Crafts magazine? No, I'm fine. Thanks. This is going to be a beautiful picture. She's going to just stay here and paint the beauty of Polgannon. Love that for us. Margaret has the day off today. She is getting a little bit lonely, so we might head down and see if Ruin is around. See if we could get some more romancing done. Nice Blue, yeah. Just work on their little budding relationship a little bit. I feel like now someone needs to make a proper like English downtown that I could attach to this neighborhood as a subhood and be like, here's as a downtown subhood. Be like, this is London. And then have Ruin and Margaret, after they solve the murder, move back there. And then they could live happily ever after, you know? Like, that would be cute. So why do we think... I know we were talking about this earlier. Why do we think Blaise Penhaligon was at the Polstones for so long? Were the times messed up, or did he actually get there around 2:30 and then get murdered sometime between then and 6:30? And just no one found him for a while, I guess? And who's everybody's prime suspect so far? Hey, nice, we did it. Let me know in chat who everybody's money is on, because I'm curious. I would like to know. Alright, let's go ahead and clean ourselves up after painting all day. Hello, Christy Lou. And then is Ruin around? It doesn't actually look like he is. Oh, she's the art person. Hi, Fernanda. How are you going? Good to see you. Obviously, Jenna, you can't tell us who your prime suspect is, but everyone else, let me know who you think is your prime suspect so far. I'm thinking, you'll find that's good. The understudy. Do you mean the butler? I was about to say the butler too. I was about to say Thomas Cardew. But I don't know. It could be not him. No? Seth Nancaro? Oh, Cedric. Cedric Chesney? You started the playthrough in this hood, but you couldn't open the mansion. Really? What do you mean you couldn't open the mansion? Cedric Chesney would be pretty high on my my suspect list too. For sure. So maybe what we can do then after we play through Margaret's Day is have a look at filling in Cedric's and Thomas's timelines as much as we can and see what information we can gather about those two. See if we can figure out where and why and what they were doing. But yeah, we're a little lonely. We've been hanging out by ourselves all day, so let's go and knock on Ruin's door. Abby, why are you here? Hello? You home? Oh, we've been invited in. Oh, how nice. Well, and immediately they're flirting. Of course. Ruby, what are you doing? Easy, you cute. I think his wanting to point to the witch with all the witchy stuff up there is too convenient. Yeah, he's definitely very quick to point fingers, isn't he? Kind of like very quick to try to pass blame and Oh no! You need a mouse, hun. Let's go auto lights, please. Nobody should be playing The Sims without a mouse. We need a Mice for Simmers GoFundMe campaign. Rocky's gonna help us solve the mystery. Here you go, buddy. I agree, but I just broke mine. Oh no. I think these two are going off to Woohoo. Maybe. Oh no, she's just going to bed. How boring. I don't want you to go to bed yet. It's still early. You want to watch TV. Okay. If it had been the witch, she would have hardly left the scene like that. It's an obvious plant. True. Yeah, with all the pagan paraphernalia around. That's true. It definitely seems like someone was trying to set up Rosen to be the prime suspect. And they were rather clumsy about it. That's a good point. That is a very good point, Joe. So what do we have in our sheet then for Cedric? Nothing. Okay, so we need to try to track Cedric's movements then for the day of the murder. see what we can come up with for where he was and what he was doing. I know he was at the church at one point or another, but yeah, we'll need to follow that up. This music track is just slightly loud, I think. But even if Cedric set the witch up, doesn't mean he stabbed Blaze. Do you mean it could have been him and someone else? And he was just involved? Or he could have found the body and then been like, I'll make this look like Rosen did it? What's your thought process there, Joe? A good opportunity to frame the witch. Go and hunt her and kill her. Okay, so what we'll do then, so we'll just triple speed through until morning. What are you doing, Rocky boy? And then, yeah, we'll jump back into Ruin, see what info he had on Cedric. And then I think, yeah, we'll have to go back to the minister's house and see what information he had on Cedric's whereabouts. See if we can put together some type of a timeline for where and when Cedric was places on the day of the murder. To narrow it down due to so many having motives is knowing where they all were. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's totally my fault for being lazy with filling in the cross-check sheet. Because it was a lot of work. Oh dear. There we go. Okay, so let's just jump back into Ruin Ross Carrick here for a minute. How are we going for time? We're okay. We're just 1 hour in, so I've got at least another hour. Spreadsheet come with the hood. I think you find it in the comments section. Maxon might be able to tell you exactly where to find the evidence and cross-check spreadsheet. Okay, so let's jump back into here. Okay, so Constable Warren reported the murder at 7:30. Yeah, okay. And the body was found by Rosen Nancarrow and Abby Cardew, who stated that they found the victim together up by the pole stones at 6:30 p.m. So yes, it was 6:30 p.m. They walked back to the village, told the constable, and then the constable himself went up to the pole stones. And there we go. There's also the pictures in their original formats, yeah. Do you guys want me to get those pictures so you all can see the pictures a bit clearer? That might be helpful. I downloaded the gossip pictures. Let's also grab the statement pictures as well. The dead guy was terrible, yes. That tells you how long it takes to get there, yeah. They could have done the murder and then framed him, definitely. Oh, that's weird. Hang on a minute. This download seems to be missing a couple of pictures. Maxon. I don't know if you can see this very clearly, but it starts at 4. I played his son's house, so beautiful. Joe made that house. Yeah, this starts at picture 4. So, I don't have a big version of this one. I don't think, unless it's in something else. You're looking for the original file and can't find it? Oh, well. That's okay. Right, okay, so I want to know any info he has on Cedric, but let's just refresh ourselves on the details of the murder anyway. So, Mr. Penhaligon left Pole Manor at 2 p.m. telling Hedrick Hardu that he had a meeting. She was surprised he went on foot. Alan Trelawney saw him at 2:15. The medical examiner showed the victim died of a stab wound to the heart and estimates the time of death was sometime between 1 and 6 p.m. Last seen at 2:15, Mr. Penhaligon must have been killed between then and 6 in the evening, probably earlier rather than later, but the examiner cannot be absolutely certain. All witnesses were asked to state what they were doing between those times. Oh, far deeper, far deeper. Oh, 1 to 3 might belong to someone else. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. I still don't have a big picture of the murder scene, though. Or I didn't use them, yeah. Yeah, it has to be worked out. Yeah, no, absolutely. I love it. It's very good. Okay, so let's actually take a look here. This is Adele's statement. So let's see what she said she was doing, because we know now that she was actually at the golf club with her lover Richard Carlyon. I wish that window were bigger in the game. Yeah. But yeah, we know she was actually with her lover Richard Carlyon at 2:30. Okay, so let's keep that in mind. So she said, when Blaze went out, I was sitting in the study reading a script. So that was at 2. Okay. So I'm going to bring this back over here. Sitting in study reading a script. Okay. Then she says, I stayed there all afternoon working ever so hard until Abby returned with Oliver. So that's a lie. First of all, that's a filthy lie. I could actually, you know what I can do? Wait a minute. Oh, no, that's not really going to work. I can just temporarily make the game bigger so you guys can see clearer. How's that? Is that better? There you go. But yeah, so that's a filthy lie. She was not sitting there all afternoon working ever so hard. She went out and met Richard Carlyon at the golf club. Until Abby returned with Oliver. Then I went into the drawing room and the table was set for tea. So we need to just figure out what time Abby came back with... Oh, now you can't see this very well, though. Oh, that's not ideal, is it? We just need to figure out now what time Abby came back, and that'll tell us what time Adele got back, I guess. So we have that she was at the Village Green, whoopsie, at 3, but we don't actually have what time she got back. Oh, well, that's helpful. Okay. About 4:30 p.m., I suppose, perhaps just before. Okay, she actually tells us. So 4:30, she was back home for tea in the drawing room, which makes sense because Richard started to play golf at 4, but that still means they were together like this whole time. Okay? Back home for tea in the drawing room around 4:30. Right. Bloody bloody blah. Okay, Verity Penhaligon was at school until 3. So, at school, at school, at school. Is there a spot here where I can write a note as well that Adele lied? Note. Lied about afternoon. Said she was at home but was with Richard. There we go. Motive. Money. Okay, there we go. Money. Secret lover. Blaze was going to change the will as well, I think. That's her motive. Anyway, okay. So then we have Verity. So she was at school till 3, came home on the bus, and walked from the stop at the end of Manor Road. I stayed in my room for a while, then had to go out for my piano lesson at 4:30. Okay. So she caught the bus home. Awesome, magical shoes appeared underneath my office door. Hello, Sandy, how are you? Welcome. We're just filling in our little evidence and cross-check spreadsheet here. So, in room, she said, and then out for piano lesson with Eva. Okay. Got home again about 5:15 and had some tea, which was cold by then. Well, that does make sense if the tea was served at 4. Home 5:15. Had tea. Did my homework in Daddy's study. I wonder where he was. I'm not sure what time I first got back after school. Maybe a bus tends to get to the end of Manor Road about 3:35. It takes about 30 minutes from Carhalwyn. I did walk slowly up the road because I was thinking, no, I didn't see anyone. The younger wife of an elder rich person has a lot of motives. Yes. Is it important for me to note, like, which roads are which? And all the roads that lead up to the pole stones and stuff? Because I might need a bit of help with that. Like, figure out which road is which. Paul, you can let Rocky out. Okay. Thomas. Right. What does Thomas have to say for himself? This is an interesting one. So I was in the kitchen garden for a while, feeding the tomatoes and tidying up the beans. Then I took the post down to the post office on the high street, perhaps around 3. God, sorry, I've got to let my dog out.
You're okay, Ruby.
He's such a pain. In, out, all about. Okay, so when, I guess, because we know he was at the pub, so I guess he went to the post office and the pharmacy. My dogs are like that too, and I only have 2, yeah. Okay, so Thomas... at post office and pharmacy Question mark. We'll need to double check that he actually was at those places. That's a lot of time for being around at those things. And then, back here to serve dinner. I must have got back about 6 p.m. So we don't really know where he was. Here? You were just away seeing to them? Yep. Okay, there we go. Hedra, what do you have to say for yourself? So, this afternoon I was in the kitchen preparing dinner. So she prepared it and Thomas served it, I guess. There was nobody about except Abby babysitting Oliver. Nessa came by at 2 p.m. with Kellen, so Abby could look after her too. Abby went out after Blaze with the children for a walk about 2:20. Okay, so Hedra was at home. So she was actually like at home till 2:20, then left for walk. Okay. There was no one at home, at least I couldn't hear anyone moving about. Just before I left, I went into the drawing room to lay out the tea and to clear out the flowers and looked about. I went to meet Melon. We'd arranged to go for coffee and cake at the Boathouse Cafe at 3 p.m. Okay. So she was at home preparing tea. Then Boathouse Cafe for coffee with Melon. And then I guess after she left the cafe, that was when she went to the pub to look for Thomas. Yeah, we stayed till 3:30, then walked as far as the school. Melon went on her way home. I went to Nessa's shop, the florist on High Street, to collect new flowers and do some shopping. I got home about 4:40 and went in to serve the tea to Adele. Okay. So she went... What time did she say she got home? 4:40, right. So she went... went to the florist as well. About town. And then she got home 4:40 p.m. and served tea. Okay. And then she says that Thomas came in at 6. He'd been to the pub but said he'd only had one drink. He still smelled of it. Abby was late again, though she must have been back as Oliver was with his mother at tea. Okay, so Abby, like, came home, dropped Oliver off. Okay. And then she was out again. Oh yeah, no, she was out because obviously she was with Rosen. And then they discovered body with Rosen. Right, there we go. Okay. Right. The thing about the dogs is to ask... The thing is that the dogs ask to go out of the room. Then they wait for you to get comfortable. Then they ask for getting in another room. Every time like that all day. Yep. Okay, so Abby... I took the kids out for a walk about 2:30. Yep. We went along the lane for a while, then down to the village. I met that old funny Mr. Trelawney on Lanscombe Road. We walked to the green. Then I went on to the school and met Tamara and Tegan coming out. That would be 3:15. That's dogs. So, village green till 3:15. Met kids at school. I watch them play and talk to the vicar's wife. She's nice to your face, but all the rest look down on me. Then Nessa came and took Kellen. She shuts her shop at 4. I took Oliver back to the manor. Adele was finally home by then. So obviously Abby knew that she'd been out, and I handed him over. Okay, so she was like at Green chatting to... Who'd she say she was chatting to? The vicar's wife, right. So that's... What's her name? Can't remember. So many different names. So she actually did this. Here. Yeah. Okay. Oreo is such a smart dog. She comes and asks, goes to the bag and then taps it. Rocky, no! He's scratching at my door again. Okay, so then we have Abby. Oh, more Abby. I didn't do anything then. I just went for a walk. I needed to think. I met Rosen. I wanted to talk to her about something she's making for me. It's nothing special, just a sort of charm. Right. Oh, that's very cute, Joe. Met Rosen. So these guys did have like quite a bit of time they were out together. And then they found the body at 6:30 apparently. So motive for Abby, hated Blaze, love child, had to give up her baby. She had plenty of motive. All right, there we go. Okay. Caro Penhaligon, right. So we know he was actually at, no, Rocky. So we know he was actually with Davith Tremathik at some point in the afternoon, having a little bit of a thing. He claimed he was home in the afternoon writing a speech for his rally. She's not in any danger of that given her round belly. Yep. Okay, so yeah, home writing a speech is what he claims, but we know he was Davith. In the afternoon. I can't remember exactly what time he was with them, but we'll figure that out. Okay. Caroline Penhaligon. Had a very boring afternoon. Hey, thank you so much for the follow, Evie. Welcome into the stream. Hope you're doing well today. She's round and stocky like one of my dogs, like Sansa. Yeah, that's Sansa, who's very round and stocky. Okay, so... Had a coffee at the Ginger Cat, spent some time chatting on the dream, just on 4 p.m, thought, gosh, must get home. Okay, yeah, no, I've already sort of filled in her thing, so that's good. Leonard Pascoe, right, so this will be interesting. Do you have anything on Cedric for us? Terrible news, simply terrible, blah, 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 blah. Okay. What have I filled in for him? Yeah. So I've got him filled in. So Cordelia came over about 3. Cedric came over to talk to me just before Griselda came home at 4:30. Right. Where is Cedric? Here he is. Oh, there's a clock? It does show 3. Thank you, Joe. Yeah. Yeah, so Cordelia came over about 3. So that's verified by the time on the clock. And then Cedric came to talk to me just before Griselda came home at 4:30. So, okay. 4:30 is this column. So he was at the vicarage. I don't know how to say that. At the vicar's to talk to Len. And then we'll put in here that Cordelia was over at the vicar's to talk to Len at 3. Okay. Griselda came home 4:30. Do I have that? This story is so smart and real well built. Yeah, it is. It's very impressive. Home about 4:30. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Right. Went over to the church at about 6:15 to prepare for the evensong. Cedric joined me there about 6:30. Okay, so if we go over to 6:30, which is here at the church to prepare for evensong. Okay, so that's a little bit for Cedric. But we need to see if we can find out anything else about his whereabouts. Absolutely. I love Griselda's statement. She's like, stunningly domestic, I'm afraid. Not the least bit homicidal. Not the least bit homicidal. Like, who says that? That's hilarious. Okay, so do I have her movements in here? Griselda, yeah, I do. Okay, so she said she was at the pharmacy and the bakery. Okay. And then she was at the green, played chess with Caroline. Alan stopped to talk briefly. I managed to get some nice cakes from the bakers. I called him in about 4:45 and Cedric joined us. I wonder what he was bothering Len with. Okay, so 4:45. Cedric, right, here he is. So we'll put this in like the 5 p.m. column. So talking to Len, and then like 5:15 p.m. had dinner. I want it to be Cedric, but I don't think it will be. I just dislike him the most. Right? Was he telling him about the murder? Maybe. We all ate tea and chatted. The boys entertained us with their tales of ghosts, though Cedric disapproves. That was till just after 5:30 when Cedric went off and Len helped Theo with his homework. Okay, so 5:30 left the Vickers. Okay. Right. Okay, so then James and Theo. These two are so cute. We were at school till 3:15. They went to the church. My dad's the vicar, did you know that? It's very interesting because we think there's a ghost in the Penhaligon crypt and we were investigating. James thinks it might be his mother, but I think it's Morgan Penhaligon. He was a pirate. Blah, 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 blah. There was something in the main crypt. I heard them talking. Okay, so this one's interesting. The murder earlier. Yeah. So this one's interesting because they heard people talking in the crypt in the afternoon when they were there, which is like 3:15, 3:30. So who was talking in the crypt? That's the question. Yeah, had tea with Cedric. One of the ghosts sounded a bit like him, as a matter of fact. Something in the main crypt equals lovers. Yeah, interesting. So they reckon there were ghosts talking in the crypt in the afternoon, and it says one of the ghosts sounded a bit like him, Cedric. So Cedric may have been potentially in the crypt at around 3:30. We'll put this in here. And we'll say James Theo suspicion. That's not like 100% confirmed. Okay, and then this is Cedric's statement himself. Father of Caroline's kid and his lover in the crypt. Caro and Davith. I don't think they were in the crypt. Maybe they were. Maybe they were. Who knows? Blah, blah, blah. I'm a man of the cloth. Surely I'm above suspicion. Well, really. All right, all right. I spent the afternoon in prayer and contemplation at home, of course. It's hardly the sort of thing you do in public. Then I went to the church at about 4 to inspect some vandalism to the font. Vandalism, it's outrageous. All right, so let's see. Doesn't have to be lovers, yeah. So he was at home in prayer and contemplation is his statement. Four, went to the church to inspect some vandalism. There we go. Blah, 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 blah. While there, the new Lady Polgarth petitioned me for help. I suppose it's natural she'd turn to someone like me. After that, I went into the vicarage to speak with Len and stayed for tea. Okay, that's an interesting thing. So... talked to Adele, who wanted help. Okay, so... at 4, Adele was apparently at the church talking to Cedric for help. Oh, new Lady Polgarth. Oh, sorry. Not the Dowager. Right, you're right, you're right. Sorry. Yeah, I get you. That's actually Caroline. Yeah. At the church asking Cedric for help. Okay. Caroline. Yeah. I'm with you. Sorry. Got my people mixed up. Not surprising, because there's a lot of different Sims. Okay. So then he went home to prepare himself for evensong and joined the Reverend at the church about 6:30. Left the vicar's home to prepare for evensong. So at home, we assume. And then he was at the church. So, I mean, what do we think of that then? Her marriage was arranged. It was. So what do we think of this then, you guys? Because he's actually got his afternoon kind of filled. I mean, he could have been up to some funny business here. So this is from 2 until about 3:30. We don't really know where he was. And then he may have been in the crypt at the church talking to somebody around 3:30, in between 3:30 and 4. I am looking for a gap. Yeah. So he could have been up to some shenanigans. Like, it is possible that he murdered Blaze, or he was involved in the murder of Blaze Penhaligon about 3. And then he and his accomplice, not accomplish. He and his accomplice went back to the church here and were talking about what they'd done in the crypt at the church. And then he, like, you know, came out of the crypt and was like, oh, I was inspecting the vandalism and blah, de blah, de blah, de blah. When someone says I was home and alone, that's suspicious. Yeah. So we'll have to see if anybody saw him leave earlier than... is often home and alone. Me too! Ah! And often just, like, in front of my computer, you know, just, like, being a complete hermit. Like, nobody sees me. I don't move. I don't do anything. But yeah, so, okay. So we'll have to see if we can find some evidence for him leaving his house. So I'll just put a note in here. Potentially could have left or, like, been out murdering, and we'll have to see if we can, like, follow that up. We all suspicious. We're a suspicious lot, you guys. We could be your alibi if you stream more often. Jid said, I would love to stream more often, but it's just so hard to get the timings right for everybody. Oh my gosh. So rough. Alright, so should we keep going with just, like, filling in some more details, you guys? We could do that. We've still got another sort of 15 minutes or so. Is everybody, like, enjoying this? Is this fun for you guys? It's fun for me, but I don't know why, if this is fun content for you guys to watch. So Carenza Tremaine, let's take a look at her. So she was at school. The children go home at 3:15. That day I only stayed a short time tidying up. Then I went home and had a nap. I was very tired. I'm not too well at the moment. I mean, well, we know why, Carenza. Because you're pregnant. Good Lord. All right, here she is. So she was at school teaching. Kids left 3:15. Loving it even though I'm lost. It's fun and distracting me from being anxious about work. Oh, Radarina, I'm sorry you're feeling anxious today. I completely understand that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, she's the one who didn't know she was pregnant. That's absolutely right, Joe. I know that feeling of, like, anticipating going to work for a long and tedious day, and you're just like, ugh. Stayed a while to clean up, then went home, took a nap, feeling unwell and tired, 'cause she preggers. There we go. Okay. I'm getting there with keeping faces and names straight. Okay, so got up at 4:30, did some gardening, phoned Cordelia about our evening out about 5:30. Okay, so got up to do some gardening, pottering. So 5:30 she phoned Cordelia Kerno about evening plans. Okay, now this is an interesting screenshot that we need to sort of pay close attention to here. So I did some housework, then had a bath and got ready. No, I saw no one. Oh, wait a minute. I did speak to Nessa when I was out in the garden earlier, only briefly. She was starting dinner for Brayok and the children. Tegan's a clever little girl. Okay, so took a bath and got ready. May spoke to Nessa at some point. Faces I can never remember? Yeah, that's fair. So 6:30, she set off for Gwen and Cordelia's house. We went out for a meal at the restaurant on High Street. Yeah, okay, so 6:30, left for dinner plans with Cordelia and Gwen. Saw Rosen and Abby on the high street. What time would this have been then? As we walked there, we saw Abby and Rosen crossing the high street and going down Haven Road. Rosen looked very upset. So that must have been when they were on their way back from finding dead Blaze. So she left her house about 6:30, got to the girls, and then they all went out. So this could have been around like 7-ish. And they could have been on their way to report Blaze's murder. And it says Rosen looked upset. So that's quite interesting. I'm also seeing a Richard Carlyon here. On the high street as well. Yeah. But it says, because the statement was that they found the body at 6:30 and then it took 25 minutes to half an hour to get down into town to, yeah, to actually report the crime and everything. Okay, cool. Rosen, right, so I was home at 2 o'clock. Blah, 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 blah. I think I've already filled in most of Rosen and Caro. Let's just double check. Yeah. So let's just see what she has to say for herself. I was till it was getting dark. I went up Manor Road and met Abby. She was wanting something to make her happier, poor lass. We talked a bit. Blaze Penhaligon done to her what he did to me all those years ago, damn him. And he is damned now and serve him right. We found him, we did, when we went up to the Stones. I'm not surprised death came to him there. It's fitting. Yeah. So, met with Abby, talked a bit about Abby wanting Abby's sad life. Was with Abby, question mark, was with Abby, Abby, body discovered at, dun dun dun, went back to town to report murder. Okay. There we go. Hated Blaze for his many love children and complicated past. There we go. So it was probably like around, what time does it get dark in Polgannon? So it might have been more like here when she met Abby. Maybe more like around 5:30. So, whoops. So she might have been more like just continuing to do this. So we don't really have a lot of information about what she was doing all afternoon. It just says she was like collecting herbs and supplies. I went through the village to my usual spots. The path going up to Haldu, the back of the shops, then the green and up to the woods on Lanscombe Road. I tell the time by the sun. It was getting dark. That's all I can say. I went up Manor Road and met Abby. And then they went up to the Pole Stones. Okay. Right. Interesting. Alright. So, Seth Nancaro had a pretty chill evening. He was mostly just at the green. Interesting. So, gets dark around 5 p.m. in October in the UK. Okay, yeah, right. Thank you. So sort of around here-ish. Just an interesting note here in Seth's little thing. So it says he was on the green, then he was off to his mum's place around 4, but he saw Jory Bascowan on the jetty seeing to his boat. I asked him if he fancied a drink and helped him pack up the boat and made it safe. Then we went to Moonrakers. We were there about 5:30. So that's all good. That's all as is. Later we took some beers off Caddock and went on to Jory's place. I said I'd fix his gutter since he's getting on a bit. Blah, 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 blah. What do you mean, did anyone see me? I told you now I had naught to do with it. But he said, I passed the cook from the manor, which is Hedra Cardew, and your precious policeman's wife on the high street going down, ask him. And then me and Jory met up with Thomas Cardew in the pub. The landlord was there as well, of course, Caddock Morgan, you ask him. So, when he was at the pub, which we know was at 5:30, Thingo was there, Thomas was there. So, kind of like still at the pub. So, are we to assume then that he was kind of at the pub that whole time? I guess. Met up with Seth and Jory. Okay, there we go. Okay. I'm slowly filling this in. I'm getting there. Right. So then we have Alan Trelawney. So yeah, they walked up Lanscombe Road to the woods at the top of the hill. As I walked past the turn off to the manor, I saw Blaze walking down the lane. He didn't see me. He climbed the stile onto the path to the stone circle. That would be about 2:15. So that's all as is. I let Nettie run in the woods, then turned back. I met the girl from the manor, Abby, and walked with her to the green. We must have arrived about 3 p.m. Stopped and talked with Griselda Pascoe, lovely woman. After that, Nettie and I went home, had a short nap. Then I nipped over the road to Arthur at the pharmacy. Then next door to my sister's for tea around 4. Okay. I don't think he has much to offer us. So where is he? Let me see. Alan. Here he is. Okay, so out walking the doggo. Yep. And then out walking the doggo, saw Blaze at 2:15 on the path to the pole stones. He said he ran into Abby and walked with her to the green, must have arrived about 3. So that's actually more like there. Met Abby on the road and walked to the green. Then he was at the green, chatting with Griselda. Then he went home, had a short nap, nipped over the road to Arthur at the pharmacy, and then next door to my sister's for tea around 4 p.m. That must have been a very short nap. Went home for a short nap. So I guess short nap. There we go. And then 4 p.m. then went to the pharmacy. At Sonara's. Alan Helen Trelawney is Sanara Nichols' sister, right? 40? I've got that right, don't I? Marek came in sometime later. I went home again about 6:15. Marek stepped round with me for a private chat. He met 10 minutes later. I had dinner at home and spent the evening listening to the radio. Right. Brother and sister, yes. Could have been murdered during the nap. He could have been, but I think it's unlikely. Went home for dinner. Had dinner at home. So, little, like, private chat with Marek at some point. I think, actually, he had the private chat with Marek here. So Marek must have gone home with him, which is a little weird, and then he had dinner at home. So we're just assuming he was at Sanara's for like the afternoon, the whole afternoon really. So we'll have to like sort of double check that. He did have a very short nap. Okay, Richard Carlyon, what do you have to say for yourself? Oh, I spent the afternoon playing golf. You can ask my partner. I stayed at the club having to drink till about 5:30, then came home, talked to my neighbour when I got back. What's his name? Hammett, that's it. Right, so, okay, let's find Richard Carlyon in here somewhere, wherever he is. In room. Cheeky woohoos. Okay, so playing golf, drink at the bar about 5:15 to 5:30. Okay, so 5:30 he went home and talked to his neighbour. Arthur Hammett. I can't spell today. Sorry, guys. What are you doing on that spreadsheet? I am filling in a spreadsheet full of everybody's whereabouts because we're trying to solve a murder mystery. So we're trying to figure out where all of the suspects were at all points in time through the afternoon because we're trying to figure out who was available to go and commit a murder. Okay, so that's what we're doing. Thought I might have dinner at home and then thought, damned if I will, and went out to dinner at that little restaurant in High Street. Place is not much of an eatery. But this beastly place has to offer. Not much of an evening, to tell you the truth. Those miserable girls, my neighbours too, God help me, were in the corner shrieking all the way through dinner with some frumpy friend of theirs. What they need is a man, if you know what I mean. Yeah, okay, so we do know that he was on the High Street. For dinner. Saw Cordelia, Gwen, and Carenza. Because they were all having dinner there as well. Hello, foster mum. Yes, hello. Sorry, I should have said hi. Welcome to the stream. We're trying to solve a murder. So it's a little bit complicated. Okay, I am just about out of time here, unfortunately, though, guys. So I may have to continue this next time. But I think we're getting close. I think we're getting close to solving this thing. The question is, you guys, would you like me to fill in the rest of this this lovely little table off camera, or would you like me to save it for next time we're all together and streaming? Because I know it's a little dry, but I don't want to like make any, on camera, I don't want to make any major discoveries without you guys here with me. Like, I don't want to figure it out and then be like, next stream, oh, by the way, I figured it out. Because that won't be as much fun. So that would mean that next week Yeah, I won't get the story if I do it elsewhere. Okay, good. And you guys can help. And point things out when I miss them. There's also a clock in this window, I'm noticing. Just quietly. Start with Jory's statement. Yeah, we'll start with this, Yes, I will be uploading the start of this on YouTube. I'll start with Jory's statement next time. Okay, yeah. Good, that's a hint, I'm guessing. Thank you, Jenna. I will do that. But we do need to finish going through these statements as well again. So just quickly, like I've noticed, you guys probably can't see, but there's like a clock in this window, which is showing the time as, let me see here. Showing the time as about 6:30. And this is Seth and Jory, and Seth is like fixing his gutter or something. And then over here I'm seeing Cedric leaving his house. Yeah, at about 6:30. You can just make out a clock. Can I zoom this? It's right here. Yeah, let's see if we can remember that next time. Exactly. But yeah, so it does look like Cedric was actually home in between the hours of, like when he left the Vickers and then went out again to the church. So, here at home, it does actually look like he was at home here. Seen in pic in Jory's statement. Damn it. I know, Gisette. We all want it to be him. I reckon he was involved. Do you know what I reckon? This is my current, like, thing. I reckon he was involved in it. And I reckon, like, here, where he was, like, in the crypt at the church talking to someone, maybe. He was talking to, like, the murderer. I reckon he was involved because I reckon he set it up to look like it was the witch. So I reckon it was like him, but he had an accomplice. Do you know what I mean? And if we remember, there's not many people that like Cedric Chesney, but one of them who does like Cedric Chesney is Thomas Cardew. Just saying. But there are a couple of people who do get along with him. Not many, but there are a couple. Maybe he paid for it to be done. Maybe he did. So I reckon, yeah, there's something to this. So we could write a note in here, like, maybe talking to murder accomplice, wanted to set it up to look like Rosen did it. I'm with Joe, yeah. I think Joe's onto something there. Alright guys, well, I do unfortunately have to end stream here. I'm really sorry. Usually I stream for an extra hour. If you guys are new, I do usually stream for about 3 hours, but I just, right now for me it's 10:10 already, so I really do need to get going. I'm really sorry. He knows more than he is saying. Agreed. But I hope that you all enjoyed this, this little, you know, look into Polgannon, and yeah, I will save it all. I will save it all to continue filling in this evidence and cross-check sheet on camera, because if you guys are enjoying it, then we'll keep doing it together and we'll see if together we can figure out this murder. But yeah, I hope that you all have a fabulous day. If you're still here, Rat Arena, I hope that your day at work turns out better than you're anticipating. And Maxon, I hope you have a great sleep. I know it's super duper late for you. The hood is so well done. It is. Thank you, Jenna. But yeah, Joe just said, everybody have a fabulous day. Foster Mum, thank you for popping in. I will see you all next week, and we will see if we can finish this murder mystery. Alright guys, much love. Take care.